Hey, what's up, guys? We're back here in SimEra in between the off seasons of season two and starting up season three. I figured I'd jump on this podcast with Cobbs and Spookie as we kind of give a little preview of the season coming up, but also review season two. For some reason, I don't know, Spookie was kind of annoying us all day long. Like, we got to do a review. We got to do a review. I'm not sure why. I'm assuming he just wants to talk about himself and
I do.
hear good things about himself. But we'll get to that. Anyways, Cobbs, how you doing today?
Pretty good.
Good.
Ready to preview the next season. I think, the past is the past. We should probably be brief on that part, but looking forward to breaking it down.
I assume you'll handle the editing that needs to be done to get Spooky down to at least an hour of talking about himself.
Yeah,
I have a lot to say.
But hey, Super Bowl champ! Hey, how does it feel?
It's about time. I've been in this league. I've been in leagues with you guys for a really long time. I had the one bowl where I won where it was 17 owners playing or whatever, maybe less than that. And you guys never really let me forget, it counts, but it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So I had a hellacious schedule this year. This league's super deep. So to do it and especially to beat Truth. Yeah, it feels awesome. I'm super pumped. It's very rewarding after years of putting work into Madden to get a bowl in the league that I actually care about. So pretty awesome. I'm pumped.
Let's just stay here for a little bit and we'll give you your moment here. We've got a few important questions I got to ask. First of all, how did you explain it to your girlfriend and how did you celebrate?
So yesterday, she came home she was at Costco for 2 hours and then came home with all this stuff 4 minutes before we were about to kick off. And she's like, I need to declutter the entire apartment. I need to put all this stuff away. I'm like, you need to go in the bedroom for 45 minutes and just leave me alone. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, I have a Super Bowl to play and it's a really important game and I really want to win. And she was just like, she knows I'm nuts with Madden. So she was like, all right, whatever. And then when I threw that touchdown to Schwartz, the second that I saw him open, I literally stood up and was like, fuck yeah, screamed. And she thought that I lost. Came out and she was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, I won. She was like, oh, wow. Okay, well, cool. So, yeah, no, I was actually quiet the whole game until that moment. I don't think I made a peep. I didn't look at my phone at all, just kind of head down. And it was a really, I wouldn't say fun because, your knuckles get a little white and tensions get high when you're in a shootout with Truth and you miss a 50-yarder to win the game. When I missed the kick, I was like a lot of emotions. I was like, well, that was my chance. Truth's going to get the kickoff. And he basically had learned that I was, just running coverage the whole game by that point. And he was just dinking and dunking down the field. So I think whoever got the ball first in overtime was going to win. But yeah, to answer your question, I screamed "fuck yeah" really, really loud when I hit that touchdown.
So the obviously I would assume the missing the field goal was kind of the big moment, thinking oh, I'm not going to win. Was there another moment in that game at all where you feel this is just going to slip out of my hands or I'm not going to be able to do this?
When Truth scored with 20 seconds left, I had almost zero doubt that he was going to go for two. As soon as he broke contain with Jones and scored, I was like, damn it. Well, that's it. He's going to go for two. And I know he's got a lot of good 2-point plays. So that was definitely the moment where I was like, damn, I had 20 seconds left to get a stop and I didn't get it. I was like, good try. And then he kicked a field goal. So I was like, all right, well, let's try to win it now. So.
Outside of the Super Bowl, what was the second hardest game of your playoff run?
Definitely Cobbs. X, I feel like I had a general understanding of how he plays, and he seemed like he was a little mentally checked out. Cheddar, I had really no doubt just based on his play style, and I watched how Cobbs adjusted to him in the second half, and just kind of learned that he doesn't really come off reads very often, and just kind of sat on what I know he liked to throw and set the depths to the other places he likes to throw. But Cobbs is I was honestly surprised that I beat him. He has a really good offense. The snow definitely helped in my favor in that game with a couple fumbles too. But he, now that he has Gunslinger, I think he might be the favorite in the AFC this year because his offense is already ridiculous. Anything that you run, basically, he usually has a counter for as long as he's reading the field well. And, he had some bad breaks in that game, and I just kind of played, chew clock, keep the ball out of his hands. And that was the only game I really felt, besides Truth, that I could have lost. But, my defense played well in the playoffs. I think I was averaging allowing 7 points per game or something like that. So until the Super Bowl. So, but yeah, Cobbs was definitely the game where I was like, this is going to be the toughest one of the season. If I can get past this, I can win the bowl. So,
Cobbs, you got anything you want to add into Spookie's run or anything you want to know?
Sure. Yeah. I appreciate that. I mean, now that the dust has settled and, I'm over the salt poisoning, Spookie beat me cleanly. He outplayed me. He executed his game plan in that game. I hope I get a rematch, but you see what Spookie did in the game against Cheddar. And I discussed with Spookie before that, Cheddar had just gone through some of the better players in the league. He beat Uden, he beat BRS. He had a massive comeback to beat Warren to get to that round, and he looked like Gordon against Spookie. It was definitely an impressive run. And then beating Truth, we all know Truth's history last year. When I saw that's who it was going to be, I thought that might be trouble for Spookie, but he played great, and it was a clutch performance. I don't know if I have any other questions that you didn't touch on, but just obviously, give props. It was a great win.
Yeah, man, that's having one of those runs. Cobbs and I have both been there at different times, and it's a blast because not only do you obviously win it, but you go through some, like you mentioned, some tough competition, and you come out and for as much crap as everyone gives you for Chubb and Schwartz and the different guys, there's still the game planning, the strategy, there's still the execution of it. There's all those other things. A league like this, you're not going to just ride one OP ability all the way through something. You're going to have to be able to make the play, the throw, the read, the decision, all that stuff. So congratulations, man. I know we'll give you some crap about it, and that's only to be expected.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think you got it. What, Cobbs? How many Super Bowls have you won?
Just one in SBS. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you and Spooks are kind of tied now, I think.
Well, I have 1.5. So
you have 1.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think kind of who's next. I think Faz won. Did Faz? He might have won 2. Sensei's only won 1. Truce got 4, I think. WTQ's got a bunch. KP's got a bunch. BRS has a bunch. I've got a bunch. Nas got a bunch. So you got to get over that hump now. Just not just being that one winner, but get the bunches up there. So.
Oh yeah, it was like my first taste of blood as a shark or a vampire or something. I was like, this is pretty nice. I enjoy this. And the other thing too, I was going to say that we didn't really touch on, but I was a game away from missing the playoffs. So that's how deep this league is that I can barely sneak in as the 6th seed and go on a run. And Nah missed, and Nah was playing better than anybody. And it was if Nah got in, he could have won the NFC. But this league's crazy deep. There's probably 15 legitimate owners that could win a bowl any given year, just based on how they get hot or how they're playing at the time. It's awesome. I love this league's great.
Yeah. Go ahead, Cobbs.
I was gonna say, Nah actually won the Super Bowl in FMF, the league some of you guys are familiar with, beating Solomon, another top contender here, pretty comfortably. A day, the day before Spook won the Super Bowl, and he missed the playoffs here. So totally agree with that point.
Yeah, I was going to shift gears into kind of looking not only just at the positives, but some of the negatives of season 2. Some of the guys that have been disappointments. Some of the guys that took a step back or just didn't play as well. One comment I wanted to make too, though, I really wanted to see Solomon and Truth play in that championship. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. But
major bummer.
Yeah, I think Solomon's definitely a good player under the radar in a lot of ways. But yeah, that would have been a good game. Anyway, so let's look at some disappointments. So you got a bunch of guys that normally make playoffs. Myself included. Normally in the playoffs, didn't make it. Na hasn't made the playoffs in 2 seasons yet. Hasn't played a playoff game yet. You've got let's see who else you got. QP making a step back. Didn't make the playoffs this run. QP, I don't know what KP's doing. He's not even close to the playoffs. Looking at across the league, what are some things that stand out to you as far as, and we'll go with you first, Cobbs. What are some things that stand out with you as far as disappointments or guys underperforming?
Okay. So KP, I don't even think we can call disappointing at this point. Like it's like
performance art.
It is performance art. It's honestly, it's a gift to the league. I think at this point, I'm here for it. So it would be disappointing if he was good again. Dan, I hate to single you out, but I've got to cite you because I don't ever remember you missing the playoffs in a league that we've been in. I really think this is the first time I've seen it. I know that there are some differences this year with all Madden and just the way the game plays. I definitely it's easy for me to, just say suck it up or something like that with my 99 overall quarterback. So I do think that is a factor when you have a quarterback with low throw under pressure, just the way the game plays on all Madden. I don't think that's something to just dismiss, but still, missing the playoffs is just it's shocking. Is this the first time you can remember doing it?
So yeah, I think there was one Madden I shouldn't have made the playoffs, but because my team had a better alphabetical standing, I did. But I think this is the first time that I can remember missing the playoffs. And yeah, it's a combination of the adjustments, combination of just not playing to the strengths of the team that I have. So. I think what I did is really fixable, so I'm not worried one bit. I think probably out of the 9 losses I had, probably 6 of them were just because I gave the team points on offense. That if I just eliminated those things, and if I punted on first down, I probably would have won 6 of those games. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, it was a pretty low point within my Madden career this past season for sure.
And I know it's got to motivate you, all the chatter from your son on this particular topic.
Well, what's frustrating that I never would have thought with this Panther team going into it is they're just boring because I don't have any moves because they're so young. And then on top of that, they're not getting breakout games. So it's like I've got all these young, great talents, but they're not getting the abilities. And then it's like, what do I do? Do I move them just to replace them with old guys, or what? I just, this team's a boring team for me. So I thought I made a really good choice in my team selection, but I think in the end it's actually a bad thing because they were too good, and I just don't know what to do with them. So that's my struggle right now, and I'm not worried one bit about Damon. He can talk his chest all he wants, but he's proven once again in the playoffs when the big boy season comes to do nothing, and he can just ride his easy schedule into the playoffs. But I won't have to play the AFC North this year. I won't have to play the NFC West. So I figure that alone will bump our records in the NFC South up at least 2+ games. I think Solomon, Na, and myself, we're all going to make the playoffs this season.
You had a wild schedule when you say you played the NFC West and the AFC North. That is a gauntlet.
Well, yeah, and then on top of that, I played Truth and Cheddar too.
Right.
So those are my other games. So when you look at the final 4 teams, Cheddar, Spookie, Solomon, and Truth, that was 5 of my games right there. But that honestly, I actually did pretty well in the tough games. It was losing to KP and losing to time and losing to QB. Those 3 losses early on actually is what kept me out of the playoffs. So it wasn't the hard games. I probably went, I don't know, 5-5 or something like that. I actually did pretty decent in those games. All right, so Spook, what do you look at when you look at the kind of disappointments? Obviously, myself, and we won't talk too much about KP, but what stands out to you so far?
I mean, I really want to dog Sensei because this is like one of my lone opportunities where I'm the top dog, but I don't want to motivate him to have him start throwing darts at a picture of my face or something. So I'll stick with one that we talked about, and I do think he's on the up and up, but I mean, for Nah to be as competitive and as much of a shit talker and as much as he plays the game and learns the game and knows the intricacies of the game, for him to miss the playoffs the first 2 seasons is just like nuts. And it was funny to watch him last year because he'd be like, "Oh, I'm tanking. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm not. I won a couple games. I'm right in the playoff mix. I need to win. Oh, wait, no, I'm tanking again." Just like kept going back and forth and back and forth. I think he was just kind of frustrated. I think he found his groove towards the end and just realized he wasn't going to dev Jordan Love and just play his little balanced game and get there. But yeah, I mean, it's impossible to mention disappointments or players that we thought would be better and without mentioning him, because he's arguably a top 5 player in the league, and he's missed the playoffs in a conference that's allowing a 9-8 team in there this season. So I think he'll turn it around. I think season 3 is going to be a big season for him. I think he's kind of locked in right now. He's been talking about the draft for like 4 weeks, and was ready to sim the playoffs the second they started. So he's definitely interested in Madden at the moment, and I think he's going to lock in and probably prove us wrong. But it's almost impossible to say so far that he hasn't been a letdown. So that's 2 of the NFC Souths where we thought that might be one of the juggernaut divisions, and so far we've talked about 2 of the bigger disappointments, and it's you guys. So time to buck up in season 3, boys.
That's right.
Yeah. It's I think it's a product of us all having to play each other, but also a product of just unfamiliar territory for me and Nah. And then when you get in that spot, you start doing things that you think you're fixing it, but you're making it even worse. And so I think Nah finding his rhythm, finding his style. I think that's the part where I got to get back to. I got to find my rhythm, my style, and then things will start falling into place there.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is like I forgot to even mention this in my disappointment part of him. Everything went right for him down the stretch, and all he had to do was beat time in week 18, and he got clobbered.
Yeah.
I got to point something out. So without digging too much into slightly uncomfortable league drama, we know that Nah has been like advocating, like he has this crazy vision where we have like 32 league owners that are like Super Bowl contenders, and that's like the perfect blueprint for the league. And he had, he's voiced that many times, and Tibbs in particular has like taken a little offense to that. He doesn't agree with that outlook. Nah lost to Tibbs. That if he beat Tibbs, he makes the playoffs. I just found that to be hilarious irony.
That is a great little tidbit. I did not even think about that.
Yep.
Fantastic.
I don't want to give into to too much drama because I think it's just been approved here, but we got a major trade shake up that we're just speaking about. Nah, he just moved Jordan Love.
Oh my God.
He had his 2nd round pick for Zach Wilson.
Wow. I'm gonna need more time to process that. Breaking news on the pod, though.
As we're talking about Nah, he brings that up. I know a lot of people don't like Zach Wilson, so I'm interested to see how that goes. But the funniest part about it is that Jordan Love is once again on the move.
Yeah, I have to kind of break them down a little bit to see the difference between them. I kind of looked at Zach Wilson as a replacement for my guy. He would have been an improvement, but not enough for me to move move on. So it's going to be interesting here to see if, again, this is the golden ticket that Na's looking for, or what. So there's really, to me, there's not too much different outside of the throw power.
Right.
You go from 90 to 97, but outside that number, they all look pretty much the same numbers across the board, except the fact that Zach Wilson has the paranoid trait, which, again, we don't know what that really means.
He's paranoid, and he has a pretty slow release, from what I remember, is what most people say.
Yeah,
so.
I know Cobbs talked about the throw under pressure. I do think that's a huge stat.
Oh, yeah.
He drops 2 points in that. Well, Jordan Love was 86. Now Wilson's 84. I don't think that'll be too big of a difference. But
I think he's just salivating at the throw power is what it really comes down to.
So we'll see. We'll see. Both are stars. So anyways, so let that jump into our season 3 preview. What are some things that you're looking forward to, or who's some people you think going to step up, or who's the next man on the ticket as far as needs to kind of get over the hump and not only make a Super Bowl but win the Super Bowl. Go ahead. Spooky. We'll start with you this time.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm looking forward to defending my title. I've never been able to say that before, so I'm excited to come in as the defending champ and try to repeat. I know it's pretty much impossible, especially in a league like this, which makes Truth's run last year even more impressive. As far as like what I'm looking forward to, who's the next man to step up? I know Sensei has his Sim fan Super Bowl, but I know deep down he really wants the SimEra one more than that. I think he's the next man up. I think he's gonna be. I mean, he said today he was quitting like 20 minutes ago, but I'm sure he's just going to use that to like internally motivate himself and, find some slight in it and play better. And I think he's as good as anyone here. He could absolutely be the guy that wins it this year. Nah has not won in SimEra yet, so he's kind of the guy that needs to step up as well. He won back in SBS like years and years ago, but he's always come into this league and talked a big game, but never won anything yet. He's been close a couple times, and I think this could be a year that he, gets locked in and finally pulls it off. I know Truth's pissed off he hasn't won yet this year. He was, he lost a close snow game to BRS. I don't have any doubt Truth would have slaughtered Clinky in the Super Bowl last year. And then he lost an overtime game to me. Truth and I historically have really, really good games every time we play, but I know that he's mad he hasn't won yet. He's kind of been the alpha dog here since I've really been here since he's come, and I know it's stinging him to not won. But it hurts my stomach to even say this, but I really think KP's gonna lock in season 3 and stop messing around. And I think that he's going to make a run because when he's as focused on Madden, he's as good as anyone, if not the best player in the league. Like, he's almost on the spectrum, the way at Madden. Today he was like, oh, I simmed like 50 drafts, and I knew he wasn't kidding. And I really think if he focuses and practices and learns the game, he's as dangerous as anybody. I think we're going to see season 3. I think we're going to see Cobbs too. I can't leave Cobbs out of this actually, because Cobbs won in SBS a long time ago as well, and Cobbs has been in the playoffs every single year since he's been here, but has a couple bad playoff losses. And I think if he just hits his stride and a couple other things go his way, he's again as good as anybody and can absolutely win a bowl. If he beat me, he could have easily beaten Chet. I know he would have beat Chet, and he could have easily beaten Truth, like no doubt in my mind. So there's like 4 or 5 guys that I think I would say Sensei, KP, Truth, and Nah that I think are in the conversation this year for me, as far as who's going to make it to the bowl or has a chance to. Obviously, Dan too and myself, but I'm not going to include that in people that need to step up since I did step up. But I'm going to go with the prediction for the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with KP and Cobbs, and I'm going to have KP winning in his annual prophetic third season cycle victory. I think he's going to pull it off. And again, I hate him. I don't really hate him, but I hate him. So I hate to say that. but I just have a weird feeling that he's been lurking in the shadows and learning the game and making moves, and he's built a pretty good roster. And I don't know. I think it could happen.
All right, that's pretty bold, man. I mean, guy that's kind of been an afterthought. We've never really looked at him too much, like we said, because of just the craziness that he's done with this team.
He's insane.
Yeah, but he does have a great secondary. He's got a great defense. He's lacking some of the abilities that some of these other teams have. When you look at Ravens and Giants and a few others, he's down on abilities, but like you said, KP's got all the talent in the world. Cobbs, what are your impressions on season 3? What are you looking forward to, or are you looking to see you take a big jump?
All right, I'll try not to be redundant. So to pick one from the AFC, I think that Warren is actually a really strong candidate. I mean, that guy, he came in and took a Texans team that was, I mean, obviously boosted a little bit. We all know how that went down, but it's still one of the worst rosters comparatively in the AFC, and he just, ran through people. He had an easier schedule than some, but he had some really high quality wins. Very balanced player. His team's getting better. He got some end of season dev. I think that he's as much of a contender as anyone. Sensei to me is still the team I would least want to play personally in the playoffs. I think that everyone in the AFC pretty much agrees with that. He's always a strong contender. And I never do this, so I have to do it because I believe it now. I think I'm making the Super Bowl next season. I really do. And I have no excuse not to. I mean, Spookie mentioned, I got Gunslinger. Like, Allen definitely just became the best player in the game. My team is pretty loaded on both sides of the ball. And, that one hurt, the loss to Spookie, because I felt like I was playing, really well. And Spookie, I have the same obsession still that Spookie does. Like, I feel like I have to get the monkey off my back. I mean, we're you can't go a next generation of a console and still be, hang your hat on old Super Bowls. So that's my AFC side. NFC, I feel like it's probably the usual suspects. Actually, circle back real quick. I think that Jets dude, the T. Holmes, he's going to make the playoffs. I haven't seen enough to think he's a contender yet. Like, as far as Super Bowl, he might be. I just haven't seen him play enough, but I think he's a playoff team.
Totally forgot about that too. He's legit. Like, he's a good addition that we're looking for in a competitive league. I played him. I blew him out, but he was doing things that I was like, all right, I'm getting the breaks, and Chubb's lit up. And then I watched him play you, and I'm like, okay, I was right. He's good.
So, yeah, you can tell he knows what he's doing.
Right.
So NFC, yeah, it's, I still see it as the teams who've been there, Truth, Solomon, BRS, or, the three main dogs. And then, Na and Dan, I think coming off now 2 straight seasons of missing the playoffs. I mean, you two are both super determined. It's tough to see anyone else aside from that. But I could see a scenario where you two wind up being either one of you winds up getting the top seed. But I have less of a feel for the NFC, to be honest with you. I feel like that's more of an open race.
Good side within having a bad season is you get a 3rd place schedule. So,
oh yeah,
I am looking forward to that. That means I get to play Cowboy. For him.
Oh yeah, I just want to mention that Cowboy is not somebody I expect to step up next season.
I can. I'll go on the same page that Cobbs went on in guaranteeing myself to make the playoffs. So I'm not worried about that part of it.
He guaranteed a Super Bowl, though.
I did.
Yeah, I know. Well, again, he's got Josh Allen, who, again, to me is at least top 3 OP players behind Lamar and Chubb. So he better do that. I'm interested to see BRS. BRS, I think, has got a much busier life schedule, so I think that's going to affect him, and his team's going to age, or it has been aging. So I'm curious to see how that will play out, and curious to see some of these guys that had some good seasons, like Eddie. Is Eddie going to keep it up with the Rams? Is Eagles, the name's slipping me, Guzman. Is he going to be able to stay in the playoffs? Is Kane going to be able to win 10 games? I think there's quite a bit of change you're going to see in the NFC side. Jesus made a good run and just missed the playoffs. Biz right there in the playoffs. You mentioned the Jets. You mentioned time schedule, real life schedule going to catch up with him. Now that X is gone, does that leave an open spot in the AFC? So it's pretty fun to think about a little bit. And this is some of the things, we've been chatting a little bit more in the admin side of stuff. But I think it's a really good discussion just to bring out to everybody the idea of being able to play multiple seasons beyond just the 3-4, but even getting to 5 or maybe 6 in one league. And seeing the changes that take place based upon aging and schedules and things like that, I think that's a lot of interest, a lot of fun. I think that brings some unique dynamics to it, and you can see it from season 2 to possibly season 3. A league this deep, potentially out of the 14 playoff teams, maybe at least half of them being different. Which I think is great. Like that's what will help sustain. Like if we just run a league and every single season it's the same 14 guys making the playoffs, then it gets really kind of boring and repetitive. But if you're talking about a 50% turnover from season to season in the playoffs, then you got a really strong, solid league there. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. We've made a few adjustments, just a few house cleaning things. Cobbs, you want to talk a little bit about the run commit adjustment that we've made, just so people are aware of that?
Oh, yeah. So we posted this in announcements, but in case you missed it, we felt like, especially with freight trains running wild throughout the league and stopping the run just being such a huge thing, Dan has mentioned there are other ways to do it, but we're allowing run commit on a limited basis. So 3rd and 1, 4th down anytime, or inside the 10 going forward. Hopefully EA comes out with a patch so we don't have to have all these rules to work around their glitches, but that's what we're doing for now.
Yeah. And also there's a lot of times where we're talking about rules or adjustments. We've been in this league and a lot of these guys, we've been doing this a long time. We're just trying to do what's best for the league. The run commit one was a really interesting thing because some guys, they that's their run style to stop is use the run commit, which is part of the feature in the game. And other guys like myself, I never use run commit. So sometimes you got to make decisions that hurt you but affect the league, or sometimes a decision's made which is best for league and it actually benefits you too. But the bottom line is we're always trying to look at what's best for the league. And there's nobody that I understand that's making some of these decisions that are doing it just solely to help themselves win. So, Cobbs, you've been in this league a long time. Spookie's been a long time. A lot of these guys a long time. We're just trying to do what's best for the league and overall. And I think we're pretty fair in that. If I could kind of pat ourselves on the back, we're not perfect. We make mistakes, of course, but we're trying to be fair within that. A few other things I want to say, there's been talk again, and again, Na brings up a lot of talks and discussion. Sometimes it's just talk and discussion. Just don't worry about like, oh, we're going to switch from AP to all Madden or back, or are we going to do this? We're going to change it. They're just talk and discussion. Just join the talk if you want, but decisions like that, we don't try to do very quickly. And then coming into the draft, which is scheduled for tomorrow night at 8 p.m., there's a glitch that's been out there. I've been involved in a league that was affected by it. And there seems to, at some point, everyone gets kicked out of the league and out of the draft, and then they enter back in, and then everyone's at different points. And it just loops around and around and around. Like you'll pick 5 picks, and then all of a sudden it'll drop you back 10 picks before that. And it's just some kind of draft glitch loop thing. So if it does happen to us, what we're going to do is we're going to just, from that point, we're going to sim the rest of the draft. and then we're gonna have the league sit. We're not going to advance into preseason. We're not going to do anything after the draft. We're going to let it sit until the following day. Supposedly something happens with the servers overnight or something with the league, and then it kind of comes back, and then we're good to go. But the problem with that is that your whole draft will get simmed from wherever the glitch happens. So we would just recommend that you set your draft board. It will sim your draft board. It'll take the top pick. So you can still get some of the picks that you want. But hopefully this won't happen. But if it does, that's kind of our route. That's our way that we're going to go forward with it. So, all right, guys, we've been chatting for a long time, but is there anything else you want to add into this? Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good. That was a good discussion. Fun to have the podcast back, and we'll probably do one in a couple of weeks again once the new season starts. Excited for the draft, excited for season 3, and go Browns.
Yeah, same. Not much else. In case you missed it, Gordon is banned for life. But other than that, looking forward to season 3.
Yeah, if you guys got any questions, make sure you PM us or send us a message, and we'll try our best to get on top of it. I appreciate just a shout out to Cobbs. It's been a busy life cycle here for myself and some things, and he's been holding down the fort a lot with the decisions and moving things forward, and all the other admins that are involved, and keeping things moving and going. And what I love about it is just this is not one man's league. This is not one person. This is a group effort, and appreciate everybody that's putting time and effort into it.
Sure thing.